Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Thank you. So the whole fundamental biomechanics with using poles is if we walk without them, and usually in our earlier lives we're strong enough, we can do it, but as we get older we tend to lose muscle strength. It's normal. So by using poles which integrate this kind of movement with our arms, we, instead of just using about 30 or 40% of our core power and leg power, by just integrating the arms with poles, we pull in the whole 100% core. There's this great muscle, it's called the QL muscle. It starts way back in your sacrum, and then it comes right up to, the mid back, mid shoulder area. So and by using, that's kind of like the belt of our core. And by using poles, we integrate it, and we're using the power of that. It's almost like a big band, and it helps to project us forward with ease and a lot easier in terms of energy expenditure and keeping strong. So when I was downtown doing a lot of my own strengthening with the poles, I'd get these great comments. Funnily enough, people started treating me better. I think they thought I was a gimp again. I blew another knee. But it's been really funny because people were nicer to me, cars stopped, and I'm like, oh my God, it's these poles, they're magic. So I love them even more, even on the mental, emotional part of it, because I wanted to bust through North Bay's little, cultural thing of you're not old enough. But you know what? It's bigger than that. It's biomechanics. It's better than walking in a gym. It's better than getting on treadmills. It's easier, but a lot of times we don't know how to do it. So
Uh-oh. We lost her.
90 years old. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So it just became a really cool organic conversation when I'm walking North Bay, and I would teach people. I'd say, hey, you got 5 minutes? I'll teach you how to do right. And so this would integrated sharing this information with you great gals, because I know you want to live fit, and let's do it easier. Let's have fun. So that's and now what I can do is I'll do a quick demo with the poles. One little thing I don't know if you guys know, there's these beautiful little foot pads that you can put on the poles for the summer. They're like little booties. If your poles have them, great. They pop off depending what season we're in and depending on the surface of the salt and the ice and the snow. So with this, I pulled mine off because it's starting to get a little colder. And if you're walking into like a forest or trails like we're going to be doing, it's better to have the spikes. But if you're walking on pavement, city sidewalks, it's good to have the booties in the summertime because it actually helps with, less noise, less vibration coming up your hands. Just a little geek ergonomics with that plug. But so have your booties. Does everybody have booties?
I don't know.
Great. So knowing when to use them, because sometimes people are still using them in the winter and we don't realize these are more for the 3 other seasons. And then for winter, use our spikes for safety. So I'm going to get my poles, and I don't know how much we can convey on the awesome Zoomness. But again, I'll be joining you ladies this morning, and we'll be live and having some fun.
Oh, that's good. Wonderful. So bring your poles, everybody.
Yes, if you have your poles, please bring them. If you don't have any poles, don't worry. We can still do the action. I can help teach you guys.
Hey,
So what
Joanne,
we're gonna do,
any thoughts about, like, I have had the collapsible poles, the adjustable ones, but I use my old ski poles because they're the right height. I think they're the right height, and they don't collapse on me. I find the other pairs that I had, they would collapse on occasion,
Yeah, good point. There are different degrees, right, of equipment as we use, and Yeah, over time they will start to collapse if you have the ones, because what the sorry about the movement.
That's all right.
What really happens is over time too, the joints, here's a joint, they
Yeah.
start to lose their power too, and then they start to slide. So this is my second set, because my old MEC ones finally died. So I bought a new pair of MEC before they were bought out by the Americans. So that just, you know, if you guys love
Joanne,
that.
can you just buy the joint and put them on your poles?
Oh, I didn't hear that, sorry.
Sorry, oh, it's Debbie. I said, when they wear out and start collapsing, if they do, can you just buy the joint part, a new joint to put on your poles?
Oh, good question. I wish we could, probably not.
Okay,
No.
just
Yeah,
wondered.
yeah, I usually ask Santa, and they usually get me a new pair.
Yeah,
So here's my set, and yeah, they do have different levels of heights. I have 2 joints on here. The whole thing is we want to make sure that they fit you. I used to fit a lot of crutches working in physiotherapy. So same kind of principle with our poles. So everybody see that? So the kind of the height you want is about, yeah, you know, around 90 degrees in your elbow. You don't want it too low, because when you have it too low, your swing is not that, it's not as effective, because the QL muscle allows for a really nice front kind of swing like that. Okay. And when you do, so that's what you want to do. And when we meet this morning, I'll do like a quick, we'll set you guys up on the height that everybody needs. So we'll get you started right. And then when you're walking, one other thing for demo is a lot of times we don't know how to do it. So it's like skiing. If anyone did cross-country skiing, you use the opposite leg, opposite arm swings. Opposite leg, opposite arm. So it's really good cognitive work too. So we have to think with our brain, and it takes about 21 days to change a habit. So it's the opposite arm, opposite leg swing when you're walking, which really empowers the QL, and everything else comes into play. Now, when we're looking at core, people think core starts here. Everybody think the core starts at your hips?
No, it's all the way through and all the way back here.
Yeah, core starts at the bottom of our ribs to our knees. Okay, that's where core starts. So can you kind of see the whole concept of urban pulls? We're walking, we're swinging our arms, and we're planting, and it's also really good for balance, because cognitively we start to change, our balance will change. So this will actually help integrate and keep the brain mobile too, and flexible in learning. So that's
I'm sold on it. I hope other people, well, I'm pretty sure other people are too.
Yeah, just a quick question. Out of everyone on this morning, what percentage actually uses urban poles?
Who used, put your hand up if you use poles.
Yeah, I can't count.
I did try it, and I just didn't enjoy it so much, but I'll use one pole just for stability, you know, for long walks. So I'm looking forward to, I don't think I'm doing it right.
Good point. Yeah, because
Anyone else?
Yeah,
Patty uses them.
great.
I do. I had knee surgery and found they make me stand up straighter. I have a lean. I tend to lean forward when I walk. And
Oh, beautiful.
I also
sorry.
quite a bit, but I wanted to just piggyback on somebody else's comment there just a minute ago. I often also just use one pole or a walking stick. Does that throw off your gait, or is it okay and acceptable?
It's okay. It's better than nothing, but it's imbalanced. So looking biomechanically, yeah, way more power, way better workout with 2.
So just stick to the 2.
Yeah.
I just bring the one pole sometimes if I don't want to use 2, because the terrain is not that difficult, but I find the one pole easier going down a hill. That's why I bring it, just for
Oh,
stability.
yeah. See, yeah, do you see how beautiful it is that we would use them when we think we're on a trail, right? Oh, let's bring our poles. But as I walk downtown in my hood, everything's flat and I use them all the time too. And that's, I think, why people thought I was lost, or Joe, why aren't you in the forest? But see, the whole principle is basically they are there to encourage better muscle strengthening, no matter what terrain we're on. But when we get into the the trails and forests, it adds more safety to it.
That's right. I agree, totally agree with that.
So health-wise, use them every time.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
Joe,
matter where you are.
can you just say your qualifications so that people understand what Hurd About Health is, just for a moment? Because
Oh, sure.
you're the expert in this area, so I feel really privileged that you're on today. This is
Oh my
wonderful.
goodness. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. My passion, I'm a registered kinesiologist, was my undergrad. I worked 10 years in a very busy physiotherapy clinic, putting out all the bobos from workplace injuries to sports to motor vehicle accidents. Then I projected out of that and got into occupational health and safety. I wanted to know where and why the injuries were happening and why do they just keep coming back. So then I grew into working for the province and doing ergonomics in every sector, mines, pulp and paper, office. So wherever the human was, I got to go and reduce risks for injuries. And yeah, and through my life, I've pretty much sprained everything, and I know how to fix it. And so yeah, my expertise and passion is kinesiology, biomechanics, and the human factor. And Hurd About Health is my own consulting business. I held up my own shingle after leaving the provincial job, and I get to take care of people in North Bay now. And they take care of me. It's a win-win.
I have a
Okay.
question. It's Jill.
Hi,
I've
Jill.
been an urban pole walker for years, and I will say there are some excellent videos on YouTube that I followed initially, and I certainly am sold on urban pole walking, for walking straighter, for getting an urban cardiovascular workout. I find they've been great. But as I am aging, I'm acquiring a few of those aging issues. I have some arthritis sort of in the base of my thumb. And I find when I'm grasping the poles that it really aggravates that. Do you have any suggestions?
Oh, good point. And congratulations that you started this a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good point. One thing for arms and hands, and it's frequency, right? And duration. So if we do short walks and it's not difficult, we don't have to grip. You don't have to grip as hard, right? The whole thing about wrist stuff and joint stuff is if we have to power it, then we're expending too much energy. So my suggestion maybe, and we can play with it maybe today, is using the straps.
Yep. Yeah, I've tried that.
The straps, they can add, you put them around.
Yeah.
And so the difference is when you're walking, you don't have to power it. You can just keep your hand open a bit and just gently hang on to you don't even have to use your thumb, really. You can use your hands and use the strap as more of a leverage to hang on. But if we're walking in a gentle area and we don't go too far, we don't have to use a lot of the gripping with our thumb and our hands.
Well, I usually walk 5Ks every day with my poles on the roads. I don't do that in the bush because you can't do that.
Yeah,
But,
that's awesome.
So, and I find I have to stop using them for a few days and then go back. Anyway,
so my question would be, yeah, because it's a balance, right? We want to get core, but we want to overwork our beautiful life injuries. My thought and question would be, do you listen to your hand? And when it starts to get tired or sore, do you turn around? Or do you now plan differently? Say, oh, you know, I can do half an hour now without my hand bothering me. So maybe adjusting our frequency and duration, because we have to listen to when our body talks. I've learned that the hard way too.
I mean, I can walk without them. I mean, and actually when I'm walking, it's not so uncomfortable there. I suffer afterwards, like later in the day. I know I've used this piece of my hand. So I just, for the next few days, walk, but don't use the poles.
So my question to you is, what intention or what purpose or objective do you want to get from your walks? What is your whole intention?
Cardiovascular, to get to walk straighter, which I very much do, and to get some upper body kind of a workout as I'm walking.
And how long does it take for you to do the 5K?
About an hour-ish, depends.
Okay.
Depends
So
how many people I meet
yeah.
along the way, but.
So my question is, as a risk assessment ergonomist, I'm going to put on that hat.
Okay.
From what I've heard is you suffer days later. So what do you think? And hey, if you like to suffer, hey, I'm not going to discredit that, because we do a lot of that. How can you make it so you get everything you wanted to get, but not have pain? What factor do we have to change here?
I don't know. Could be duration
Time.
of the walk. Maybe do half an hour with poles and carry them the rest of the way, or whatever I need to do.
Are you open to a suggestion?
Of course I am.
I want you to try a half an hour with the poles.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
And then check in and tell me, because you're going to get everything you need and better without the suffering after. So maybe a half an hour might be too much too. So in the next few days, weeks, whatever, I want you to analyze and assess how much time feels good for all parts of your body.
Okay.
Wow, that's great advice for all of us.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I've shared that those issues with Jill, because I have the same issue as her with the poles. It really hurts my hands later, exactly like Jill. So I'll follow it too and see what happens.
Yeah, because you know what, our brains tell us, oh my God, we used to do an hour, we used to do 5 hours. Oh, that's what we're going to keep doing. But our body is screaming and saying, yeah, we've had 1,000,000 kilometers. All we really need is 20 minutes. Or some days I've learned that, hey, 10 minutes is awesome. Like, I don't really have that in my own personal commitment to it. And we're very programmed to be driven and objectives. And what I'm learning is, hey, I check in and go, I think I'm going to do a 3-block walk today because that's all my body wants. And then I don't suffer and I progress.
Yeah.
Good. I found exactly like what you were mentioning is that particularly last winter when we were walking in the bush, I was definitely squeezing my poles too hard. And like Jill, I don't feel it then. It's then a day or two later, then they really hurt. And so I've tried to kind of consciously do, not kind of leave it open, but you kind of forget, hey, if the terrain gets a little off, because I quit curling just because of that issue. I couldn't train myself not to squeeze my sweeping broom and kind of holding tight. So we'll try that. Maybe Jill and I will remind ourselves as we use it this winter.
Okay, I'm going to ask Joanne, have you given us all the details we need to know, or because I don't want us to run out of time? Is there anything else?
One more point. Thank you, Harriet. One more point. Just remember and be gentle with yourselves. It takes 21 days to change a habit.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks of reminding yourself, whoa, I don't need to do an hour. Whoa, I don't even need to go today. It takes 21 days to change habits cognitively. So that's all I need to say. Good luck.
Can I just add one more?
Oh, sorry, Debbie, go ahead. She's
Uh,
talking.
Hi, Joe and Harriet. It's Jory. Anna has a question in the chat.
I know. I'm just trying to get through, people are asking questions ahead of the, so I'll just get, Debbie has something to say. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Debbie.
sorry, I was muted. Joanne, when I've just got my pole here. I went and grabbed it. When you were showing us that demonstration of grabbing the pole and, you know, you were hanging on to it like that. And I just find in the winter time with a big pair of mitts on, that's very cumbersome. I can't grab that. And so I go up underneath and just come down. I don't even sometimes hold the grip. I just, you know, like this. And that seems to work better for me. Is that an okay position to have your hand in?
Yep.
And
Yeah,
it might,
as long as you're not in a slippery area, depending on if you need it for balance and you're on ice, then yeah, don't even go walking when there's ice anyway. But yes, whatever you find is going to work, but also assess, am I going too long? Why is my hand holding so tight? Why does it start to ache after 20 minutes? So you have to take into other considerations, time, you know, pace, all that stuff will help to us to be gentler to our joints.
Joe, we have a couple of questions in the chat. How much
Sure.
should you expect to pay for poles? Where to buy them?
Oh, good question. I know the Shoppers Home Health has a good set. Mountain Equipment Co-op, Lefebvre's, you know, all those places that have, because it's kind of in the sports section, right?
Yeah.
Sport Tech, but they're hard to find, like anything right now.
I don't think you should buy, I think you should invest in a pair of poles.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't go to the dollar store,
Oh,
okay?
oh my
Because
goodness,
you're
no.
gonna- No, you know, it's like, you've got to buy a fairly good pair if you want them to last.
Oh
But
my God, yeah.
As I mentioned, I use my old ski poles because they're just the right height. And I've given away, I've lent out 2 pair to other people who are doing okay with them, so, with the other ones. So
Yeah, good point. You got to get the right equipment to do the right outcome, right? Right, sorry. Yeah, invest in an urban pole set. They're anywhere between $20 and $30 for a good quality pair. And they will last you 20 years or more. Yeah, and it's stability, it's safety, it's everything. Because if you get something cheap or it's not designed for the biomechanics, then it throws your hand off. Like even the grips, you know, which we're talking about hands, you know, the grips for urban poles are made with cork, so they absorb a bit of the pounding, and they also have a little bit of an ergonomic grip with it. So it's made to help the hands function a little bit easier, whereas ski poles aren't made for
that's true.
pounding, right? They're made for quick planting as we're skiing down the slope. So everything is designed as a geek like myself knows. Biomechanically, human factors and ergonomists design these things to help make everything easier for our joints.
Mary Lynn has a thanks for that. I guess I have to go out and get another pair.
And I don't get commission, so don't worry.
Okay, Mary Lynn, limped on a bad knee for 11 years, avoiding knee surgery. After surgery, knee as well, but everything else is out of line and core muscle, hips are stiff and weak. Other knee is bad, but hoping to strengthen core and improve gait before surgery. Wise to wait on surgery? That's what she's asking.
Ooh, no, I would do gentle 10-minute urban walks, because you're going to keep everything stronger. So then after surgery, you've already started to align and strengthen the body. You're already teaching it what it needs to do now for the rest of our life.
Thank
But
you.
gentle, like, I don't know what your you know, your mobility is now and stuff, but you know, listen to your body. Even if you walk around the block once, that is better than nothing.
So and that's a good point, because you can't diagnose or anything like that, eh, Joanne? I mean, you need to meet someone one-on-one to be able to help them with issues.
Yeah,
to
and
their
really
body.
now that I've been out of clinical kinesiology for so long, like I can do things on the if I see it, but I would definitely suggest you check in with you know, a physiotherapy clinic, people who are in, you know, specialize in gait, just to maybe help you. But it sounds like you're doing well.
Yeah.
But gauge pain. Pain is our first gauge to slow down and less time.
What about, so a question here in chat, what about cross-country poles, ski poles?
Oh, no, I would just right out say no. They're too long. They don't have the same capacity for urban walking. It's different.
There you go.
I'm getting
Makes
geeky.
sense.
Yeah, I'm keeping it like so black and white because we can always pick something up like a branch or something. We do that. I've done that. But when you have the right equipment, you don't go back. If you want to do it right, yeah, you got to have the right shoes, right? We have to have the right pole.
Yeah, good point, good point.
Everything starts from our feet.
Yeah. You know what I noticed, Joanne? I see people that are getting poles and I see them out walking and I want to stop the car and it doesn't seem like they're really using their poles the way they're meant to be used.
Right. This is what I've been, this has been my new passion play. Yeah. That's why I stop people and I walk down the hood and it becomes very interactive. Because it's like yeah, thank you, Harriet. I'm glad you now can stop them.
Well, I might be one of those people. I don't know. I'm waiting for that to walk in the bush with you but I do find that I walk straighter, taller. I get a better cardio workout. I'm getting weight bearing exercise, which is very important as you age.
Yeah.
What else? I just feel more confident in icy or snowy conditions.
Yeah.
There's so many benefits, and actually the last piece about aging is probably way back at the mine because I'm great at denying that anyways. So you know, I think it's just fantastic. But some people are resistant, I know. So
Oh, and I totally understand. You know, and it's not a cult, but I know what it's done for my life in my early 50s when I had to. It's usually accidents and injuries, right, that make us change it up. But I want sustainability. I want to move with ease, and I am so in love with my poles. It's not crazy love, but it's I feel weird without them now.
Patty has a comment.
Hi there, I'm totally enjoying this. Thank you. It's been really helpful to me this morning. I just want to add a quick tip that when you're approaching other people when you're walking, if they're walking with dogs, just be careful because I have had dogs not like my poles. And there's some of that clicking or the pole action that seems to stir them up. And so now I realize, especially if I'm walking towards, well, it doesn't matter, be honest, I've had little dogs come at me too, but just be cognizant of that. And just, you know, sometimes I lift my pole so it doesn't irritate them or whatever. It's not every dog, but some dogs get really riled up about my poles. So just a little quick tip there. Don't be surprised if one of them, they're not going to bite you, but it just seems to irritate them that they want to come a little bit closer to you than you might be comfortable with.
Good,
I
good,
found
great
that
point.
too, Patty, the same
Great point.
thing.
Oh, really?
Oh
Yeah.
yes, like there's a couple of yards that I walk by now, I automatically lift my poles because if the dog is outside, it'll chase me along the fence, just barking and barking. It really doesn't pole. So just you know, information. Don't be surprised if it happens sometimes to you.
Yeah, so, some people get irritated. So be careful of, yeah, that's a great point. Just know you can just pick them up and once we pass whatever that, you know, because sometimes who knows why it irritates the dog. Sometimes it scares them. So that's very beautiful. Yeah, keep aware of your surroundings and it's easy just to pick them both up and skip away and then get back at her.
So Joanne, is it, I was going to ask you about gait, or you're going to show us that when we go out and we're walking. So this walk is more of a learning experience, right? An opportunity for us to really get to use our poles properly. And
Yeah, I love just getting out there and practicing. Or you don't have to. Like you might do a few steps and go, "This is crazy talk." But I'll be there if you have questions. And I find learning by actions, by watching us, or if you guys want to watch me, it's like a dance. You can do it slowly. It's not a competition.
It's better for your back and for your core. So I'm gonna.
somebody's talking. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you know what? It's so cool that you guys want to try. Because I want us to be like at Austria when I traveled a long time ago, and everyone just uses them. It's just normal. I want North Bay to be like that.
Yeah,
We're going to be healthier. We're going to be able to sustain our beautiful active lives. That's my whole sustainability and quality of life.
Debbie has a comment to make. Go ahead, Debbie.
Morning. I walked over almost 350 kilometers along the Camino in northern Spain with my poles, my walking poles that I was very, very glad that I had. So I am a big proponent of walking poles. I am finding though that most of the walking my group has been doing has been in the bush, and I'm not using my poles because a lot of our bush walks are quite challenging, shall I say, and we're jumping around puddles and hopping. I call it the forest ballet, you know, which actually I find is really improving my agility and balance. Because I'm not depending on my poles to walk around the trees and jump over the puddles and the streams and like I said, I'm not saying that poles aren't a good thing. They are. They absolutely are. But I find in the bush they're more of a hindrance than a benefit.
Mm-hmm. I feel exactly the opposite. I do. It's funny. Yeah, you know, when we were in Canada, I was really glad to have my poles because there was water and I'm using my whole body. I'm using my arms and it kept me up straighter. I don't know. I'll be interested in your comment there, Joe.
Debbie, it's Jill again. I feel the same way you do. I find when I'm on a flat surface, you know, on the road, then I can get a nice kind of a rhythm and keep going. Whereas in the bush, you can't wear those little feet, walking feet, as I call them. You have to have the you know, the spikes. And I find they may be helpful safety wise, but I'm not only looking where my feet are going, but I'm looking where my poles are going too. And they sometimes get in the way. It's a very different walk, I find, going through the bush on the trails that we use. And
Joe?
I don't bring them because I do find they get in the way.
Joe, comments, please.
My poles for cardiovascular walking probably, and I have to think more about it.
Go ahead, Joe.
Interesting comments, and I respect everybody's experience. Looking at it from a biomechanical, physiological, functional, I know it's not going to be a surprise. Using poles, no matter what terrain you are in a forest, enhances balance, agility, core. It's more dynamic. It's a bigger dance. It's like you're dancing on the dance floor with just 2 feet, or you're dancing with a partner. Think of your poles as a partner. It's a whole different dance, and there's a lot more going on in your brain and in your body. So if that analogy works, give it a try and give it, if you're open to it or not. I'm not going to change your beautiful experiences, but I especially like my poles when I'm up in Temagami and when I'm jumping over rivers and rocks and tripping over roots. It's even better. It's more dynamic and more confident because I have my poles. I take bigger chances.
Debbie?
But that's me.
Yes, Debbie?
I'm with Harriet and Joanne. I rarely go into a hike. Sometimes in the group, I'm the only one that has them, but I feel so much better and confident. And they're just, to me, they're an extension of my body.
Beautiful.
Any other comments, Joe?
Oh, no, this has been really, I love the interaction. I love the questions because, you know, if we can stretch out of our comfort zone and just push over our little edge and use urban poles now to help launch us forward, if it's 10 minutes, if it's 5 minutes, if it's in half an hour, it's all really good, but it's way better for us with our new toy, I like to say.
Hey, Joe, if you know, like, let's get back to, I do see people in my own, even on my, going through the bush and they're tapping down with the poles. They're not really using the pole. And I'm just, can you do more damage than good? I'm just curious about that.
Well, yeah, if you're not really using them well, you're carrying things that aren't really working, right? So you're putting more weight on the end of your hand. And yeah, I don't know. If people are just tapping, yeah, they may as well not be using them. But when you see somebody who knows how to walk with them, it is so fun. And it's like, it's the difference between walking and maybe, you know, I don't know. You're planting better, you're grounding better. It's a way better experience. But yeah, we're going to see a lot of people, and that's been my little irk. And I just want to get some just new ideas and teach people that it can be better. If you want. Not everybody wants to. Some people are so embarrassed about poles. People are embarrassed about walkers, canes. I get that. I worked in orthopedics for a long time, but this is like we just got to break through this because, oh my God, it's a mental thing too. It's an emotional thing. It's like, oh, what are people going to think what I look like? I love it when people say things or walk by and ask me questions. I don't care. So that's another part of the pole walking. It's not just physical, it's emotional. It's about, some people are embarrassed, and I get that, but man, I'm glad we can blow through it. I love when people, and now people don't say anything to me. It's really boring. They know it and they go, hey, look at you go. And yeah, it's like, oh, there's Joe. It's like, you know, it only lasts for a little while and then it's like, oh man, I'm not special anymore.
Well, I think, do you have any recommendations? You know, I always feel that you should be able to walk a half an hour. If you walk a half an hour with poles, it's like walking, it's like walking an hour without poles. You're not using your upper body, right?
Right. It's so efficient. It's way more quality workout. Perfect. I love that, Harriet, for putting that in. It's perfect. Like, why waste a time of an hour, come home and then be in pain for 2 days, or get out there for 20 minutes with poles and do it with verve, and then you're good. Hello. It's about making it easier, right?
Yeah.
Efficiency.
But the problem is we get out in the bush and we get so excited. It's so beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
But we do stop and start and things like that. But.
Yeah. And you'll find your endurance. Like, I know my walks in forests are way longer because there's less expenditure of energy. It's just because, you know, we're in the enchanted forest and we're breathing. There's all kinds of other beautiful things for our health. But when we do those great urban walks of a half an hour, we can trek into Temagami for 2 hours because we built up to that, right? When those times come, when we do I love your Camino example, because I call it the North Bay Camino Trail, because people are leaving and they get to leave and they do the Pacific Coast. And I'm like, I do the North Bay one. And they're like, where do you go? I just walk out my door and I start walking. Right?
Well, some of these ladies, we had a team and they were called they're still around, but the Lost Souls. We haven't lost them permanently or anything, but they have been out for 2 hours at some.
Yay! Yeah, we don't have to get on a plane because we can't, but we have our own Camino here if you can find it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
We have about 40 trails that we
Yeah,
kind of
wow,
logged,
yeah,
you know.
right. I should hang out and find out more from you, Harriet.
Well, I'll share that with you if you like.
I'd love that.
Okay, Debbie?
I'm just wondering, Harriet, if in the near future or like maybe even in the winter time, if you could invite Joanne back if she's willing for a second walk. Unfortunately, I have to miss the walk today. I don't know if I'm doing it right, you know, my polling, but maybe for those who can't come today, if Joanne could come at another time.
Oh. Uh-oh. Hang on. Someone has screen shared. And okay, there we go. Thank you. Okay. So I don't know, I'll leave that with Joanne, but you know, maybe in March when we're really into the winter, Joanne, if you come back, that would be wonderful. Hey, just
would
for a
love to.
moment, we got a few minutes left. So are you mostly referrals, or what if somebody wanted to contact you? I know they can go to Earth in a Nest and pick up your information there. But give us some, you know, what's the process for you?
If you're looking at like a one-on-one personal kinesiology stuff like I used to do, unfortunately, my business is not that centered focused anymore.
Okay.
I love doing this kind of stuff though. This is where I still get to do that. I am basically more, it's word of mouth for corporations and businesses, they call me. Because I'm now working in the occupational health and safety realm.
Okay.
So if you
Good to
work at a
know.
hospital, you know, ONTC offices, or people just suss me out and then I get to do assessments for whatever they need.
Oh, someone just said here Anna, little point of etiquette, when carrying poles underarm, pointy end forward and down, not to the back where someone can bump into them. Good idea.
Yeah.
A safety thing.
Safety.
Dorothy, is there a brand name you prefer?
Ooh, no, I don't know. I just know that the most sports places are credible. Although I like to promote Mountain Equipment Co-op.
Okay.
Because there are, yeah, I've been going to them for 30 years. And it is Canadian, was Canadian, but they still have their, yeah, Mountain Equipment Co-op has been like the organic original sports store. So yeah, go online. Now you can do anything, you can get anything online. So if I do want to plug one, MEC or Lefebvre's or Sport Check, any of those places.
In the spirit of shopping local, maybe check that out first.
Yeah,
Just
shop
wanna
local.
Throw that in there if you can.
Yes, thank you. I forgot. Shop local. They know their stuff. You want somebody to be able to teach you about it. So always look for that. Look for people who know their stuff.
Okay, good. All right, so we have 5 minutes left, or we can, another question. Any tip or resource for someone who really needs to use them, but his labels don't allow him to do it? Not sure what you mean there, Senny. Do you want to clarify?
Hi there. Yes,
Hi,
a little
Jenny.
bit. Thanks. So it's about my father. He has knees and hip problems, and he really need to use it. He bike a lot. He use biking, but I've just have advised him to use them for support because he couldn't walk too much. He can bike, but he couldn't walk. So I know that it can help him. But back home, for some reason, there are some labels about it. You know, like people don't wanna show themselves with that. Because back home, and I just highlight about back home because it's funny. It must not be like that. But people think that if you use them, you're gonna show like weakness or something. That's what my father thinks. I think so. So yeah, how can I if there is a tip or resource to just help him to use it because he need it?
You know what I'm thinking you could do, Senny, and maybe Joe when we get the video up online, you can show them the video. Or send them the video link so we can go and listen to this presentation. What do you
Sounds
think?
good. Sounds
That might
good.
help,
Thank you.
eh? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great thing. And also before, you know, with any orthopedic injuries, please make sure you've checked in with your healthcare professionals to make sure that urban polling is going to be okay at certain stages. So again, check if you've had like knee replacements and hips, when and if that can happen. And yes, show my video because it is a culture and emotional thing as well. It's not just physical, but yeah, it's easy. You can get through that.
So,
But for some people it is, it's very cultural and they won't do it.
yeah,
And you can't force them.
that's true.
So unless
Okay.
they ask,
Go
don't.
ahead. Yeah.
Unless people ask you to help them and they want to do it, I've learned, just say, I respect that. And we can't fix them.
Hey,
Oh, that
Joe,
was deep. That was deep. Thanks, guys.
I want to say thank you so much. This is very informative, and now we're going to get a little lesson, which is even better. And I want to thank everybody for their great questions and comments because we all learn from each other, right? So great to have Joe on board, and maybe we'll try for March or February, March, and see if Joe can come along with us on a winter walk.